Liverpool are back in Champions League and they are going to face a tricky opponent who actually defeated them earlier in the league stage campaign. Welcome to Marching Reds. I am Amanjima and here I am to preview the game between Galatasaray and Liverpool going to be played at the iconic Istanbul Stadium again, but this time it's the first leg of the round of 16 stage. So let's start looking at it right away. The fact that Liverpool finished in the top eight spots, we finished third after those eight league games was so critical, especially with the season that we're having, that we did not have to play that extra set of games, which Galatasaray did. They beat Juventus in a two-legged tie, and although in the end they had to be stretched till the extra time, but in a way it showed their explosivity and also a bit of flaws that Liverpool can actually target. So it is going to be a spicy contest, and the fact that we've played them earlier in that stadium itself should at least be of some advantage, if not all, because for the first leg we are going back to the stadium, and the interesting fact is that their fans will not be allowed to travel to Anfield, so they'll make sure that in terms of the atmosphere, not only they prove to be a difficult opponent for us, but at least in terms of the scoreline and performance, they would like to carry a lead. And exactly the opposite can be said for Liverpool. It is a tricky fixture, it is a difficult stadium to travel to, but looking at how narrow the margins were when the last time these two teams played, Liverpool should be confident enough in getting the job done in the first leg itself and make sure that we consolidate when this fixture is played at Anfield in a week's time or so. I have to start with addressing the game that was played earlier. In that game, Galatasaray won 1-0. And although I still could not understand the fact, like how that penalty was given, I mean, you can roll back the highlights and come to a conclusion on your own. But for me, it wasn't a penalty. And that just proved to be the difference maker that day. But that wasn't the only element which needs to be highlighted. The fact that Jeremy Frimpong on that day started as the right winger instead of starting in the right back position and was proving to be a threat, because there were moments when Hugo Ekitike sort of had a few chances when he went one-on-one against the keeper as well, but was not able to finish those situations off. So similarly can be said about the Galatasaray team as well. There were moments for them when they had our defenses in trouble. So it wasn't a cagey game as like what the scoreline might say so, but I mean, whoever saw that game knew that like Liverpool could have scored a few goals and so could have the Turkish team. So it would be interesting to see what sort of tactical nuances both managers would have up their sleeves, because definitely, no matter what the result would be of this first leg, there is going to be a second leg, and that is when you would like to see, at least as a Liverpool fan, our team come out trumps, because definitely we've got good quality in our team, and coming off after beating Wolves, although they are Wolves and it was the FA Cup. But the only issue we as fans would might have to experience is the fact that whether our team would show up again or not, because it's the consistency which has been the problem for us. And I mean, if the right Liverpool turn up, and I hope that is the case for the remaining games of the season, we should be in a good position to make sure that we get the result our way. Looking at the injury status and the squad availability, it was good to see Florian Wirtz get a good set of 20 odd minutes or so against Wolves. So he looks to be fit, and for me, he would be starting in the 11. Although Federico Chiesa has picked up a knock, so he has not even traveled with the squad. And same can be said for Alison Becker. And although I do like the fact that we've signed another top keeper in Mamadashvili, but Allison is Allison. So I just hope that Mamadashvili can step up to the plate and grab this opportunity with both hands, because I really wanted him to get a few more minutes, especially in those FA Cup games. But it is what it is. If it's the Champions League, I'm sure he won't be complaining. So my lineup would start with Mamadashvili in goal. In the left back position, although Andy Robertson, I think, had one of the best games this season, but it has to be Milos Kerkez for me, who would be getting the nod. In the centre back pairing, it has to be our skipper Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate. In the right back position, maybe you start with the Joe Gomez, or it's Jeremy Frimpong who gets the nod ahead of the Englishman. But I would not like to see any midfielder, whether it's Obersley or Curtis Jones, to be named in that position. So for me, I think it has to be Jeremy Frimpong, knowing very well that how attacking he was when these two teams met earlier in the season. And with his pace, we all know how offensive he is. But to just shut off the game, you can get in Joe Gomez and Andy Robertson later in the second half. In the midfield, Gravenberg, after having signed that 6 year extension with us, should be starting for us in this game. And so would be Alexis McAllister and Dominic Soboslai. And for the remaining three spots, there has to be one senior player who would be missing out. And for me, it would be Cody Gakpo, because I would like to see Florian Wirtz start in that left central position. And up top has to be Hugo Ekitike, who was given a total rest against Wolves. He did not even play any minute in that FA Cup game, so he earned a well-deserved rest for me. And up top has to be Mohamed Salah, who has scored in back-to-back two games, and I just hope that he continues with his scoring streak. And if that's the case, Liverpool should be in a strong position. The reason why I would not like to start Cody Gakpo is not because he's done anything wrong, but I just feel it would be nice to have that creative element which Florian Wirtz brings, because that is something which was missing against Wolves in the Premier League game that we faced. Liverpool find themselves in a comfortable position, knowing very well that they've got options on the bench to impact the game later on. So Cody Gakpo, Rio Ngamoa, both the fullbacks in Joe Gomez and Andy Robertson, and alongside Curtis Jones, those would be those big players that would be starting on the bench for me. And we all know the quality that they bring if they're called upon in the second half. And I think that is where, if the game is drawn out, you need that defensive stability as well as those fresh legs in the midfield if that need arises. So it's a big game, and I do think that Liverpool have enough in them not only to overcome Galatasaray across the two legs, but I do feel that we will be giving a better performance to what we saw the first time around. And the only way I just feel Galatasaray can be of any threat is with their lethal mask man Victor Osimhen. And if we can control those transitions effectively and be a little more responsible whenever we're called upon to handle any defensive situations, I think it should be a good game for both our offensive line and our defending line. And yes, I mean, there is no denying the fact that if we can keep a clean sheet here, it would be an immense boost to not only qualify over these two legs, but especially on that night itself. And the only fear, or like the worst result for any Liverpool fan, would be the fact that we might get outplayed, which I don't think would be the case. And especially with the scoreline, you don't want to carry an unassailable lead. And we've seen dramatic comebacks, especially when Liverpool are involved. But I just feel that even if it's a draw, even if it's like a 1-2 goal lead for Liverpool, they should be in good steam coming back to Anfield. For Galatasaray, I mean, they have to go all out in this game. That's how I feel about it, because coming to Anfield, it will be a tricky game. And of course, like this season, Anfield hasn't been a fortress for us. But the fact that there will be no fans for them when they travel to us, so they would love to be physical, slow the game down, play to their strengths, and make our lives as uncomfortable as possible. And that is something that Liverpool needs to take care of, not only to be calm and composed about the way we carry our ball forward, the way we are handling transitions, but also to make sure that the atmosphere, the fans inside the stadium do not affect us or play a bigger role. And if we can do that, that would be one of the major boxes to be ticked. And yeah, if we can get that early goal, that would just make sure that Galatasaray would have to come out further, which might eventually help us getting that second goal or being a little more lethal when it comes to our counter attacking situations. And this just increases my excitement for this game, because in the Champions League we've been doing pretty well, and I do believe that this Liverpool team would try to correct all the wrongs that they did in this similar stage last season around when they faced PSG and got eventually knocked out at Anfield. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. You let me know how Arne Slot should approach this game, and let me know your score predictions, and let me know if you think that Jomi Frimpong, if he gets a start, would he be playing in that right back position or in that right wing position? So yeah, this was the preview, and hopefully uh, I'll see you in the review of this game with a big positive result for Liverpool. Till then, take care.